Alright, what's going on everyone on YouTube? NES Ruler, welcome to a brand new review. And this time I'll be talking about a pretty special film, I have to say, simply because of the history and whenever films like these actually come out and get released and get cleaned up, that's a really special type of a moment. And that is a film from 1914 that was thought to be lost for years and years and years. It was just recently found in a basement in New York and was sent back to the country it was produced, Hungary, and they cleaned it up and they just got released by Olive Films. This is the first home video release of this film, and that is The Undesirable from 1914, directed by Michael Curtis, who went on to do films like Casablanca and Mildred Pierce and White Christmas. So Michael Curtis was, a pretty well-known director, and the fact that this is one of his early films. I think he only directed a few films before this, and mostly they were short. So prior to 1911, you really didn't see too many feature films come out. Australia really was the only country around that was making, features, 60 to 70 minute long features, and many other countries couldn't really sustain, say an attention span and audiences and budgets and things like that to produce features. So prior to 1911, really, you would see just a bunch of shorts. Everybody knows the Lumineers brothers, A Trip to the Moon, and things like that. So to see early feature films are really a rare occurrence, because most of them are lost. They weren't really cared for. Film preservation really wasn't a huge topic on many people's minds. So a lot of these films, unfortunately, have gone to the wayside. And like I just said in the beginning, to have a film be found in a basement somewhere in New York and to be cleaned up and to be released is just amazing. And I have to say, Olive Films did a really fantastic job with this release. Even though they didn't really, commission the restoration, the fact that they picked it up and they decided to release it is really, really fantastic. And the film looks absolutely stunning. Hungary, like I said, did the restoration, and they did a really, really beautiful job on this. They cleaned it up in a way that is amazing to think for a film that is 102 years old and hasn't seen the light of day in probably 80 years. Is absolutely fantastic, and I can't believe how modern this film looks. From the set pieces to the costumes to everything about it, it just looks extremely modern, and it's a really, really funny film with some interesting love interests going on that you could see carry over all the way to Casablanca, more than 35 years later. So the film follows Betty. Betty is a girl, I would say. We don't really know her age. I would say she's like 21. She's living with her uncle, and her uncle has kept telling her that he is her father, because her mother ended up killing her biological father, and now her mother's in jail. So right when she tells her that he is really her uncle, he dies, and she's unfortunately sent away to the big city to try to find work to sustain herself. At the same time, her mother is finally getting released from jail, and Betty doesn't know that her mother's still alive, or when she's getting released, who she is. So her mother goes back to the town, or the village where Betty is from, to await to see if Betty comes back to the village now that her uncle has died. So Betty gets a job working as a housemaid in this huge fancy house, and she is accused of stealing jewelry from this house, and it's actually not her. Some robber doppelganger dude did it. So she gets sent back to her native village, where she meets her mother, and there's this really nice scene between them two when they're having a drink, and Betty wants to kill herself because nothing is really going well for her. Everything's going down the dumps. She's accused of being a thief, and the guy that she falls in love with, who is the son of this huge house doesn't think that she's telling the truth and all this kind of stuff. And there's a really nice scene between Betty and her mother that's really, really fantastic, and well acted. You know, with these films, they have to be really well acted because dialogue can't carry the films. You know, facial expressions and things like that have to carry the dialogue. And the fact that a film is able to achieve that is really, really fantastic. And I think a lot of actors today haven't been able to experience that type of style that a lot of these actors had to go through back during the silent era. So that's basically the story. It's a pretty, I want to say generic story, but for 1914 you have to think that you know, there's not many things that have followed from this, and there's not too many films to compare it with, considering really it's only been really 3 years or so since feature films were even well known or even made. So it's just a really, really great short 66-minute silent film. I highly, highly recommend you guys pick this up from Olive. Support the silent cinema and support the fact that these films actually have a voice and they actually have a meaning, and they deserve to be restored and to be seen by everybody, because you know, everything that we watch today, even though, you know, most of you guys watch horror films, a lot of it revolves around these films, and a lot of styles are still used today. And I think that it's a really, really amazing film to watch, and you should check it out. You can pick this up from Olive Films, like I said, and I highly recommend it. It's a really, really fantastic film. And it's nice to see that a lost film like this could find a home on Blu-ray. So, thank you again, everybody, for watching. If you like this review, please give it a thumbs up. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/NESRuler22. And I hope everybody's doing good, and I'll talk to you soon with another review. Talk to you guys soon. Later.